At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Miami Marlins. Tuesday Night Baseball is courtesy of Fios by Verizon. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Fios, the best way to watch your Mets all season long. Get the 100% fiber optic network. Visit getfios.com. By Tri-Acura, visit your local Tri-Acura dealer or online at triacuradealers.com. By Geico, over 75 years of savings and service. And by the Lincoln Motor Company. Well, you've gotten used to this drill over the course of April and May. Baseball in New York with rain mixed in, chilly day, rain all afternoon. Good news is, but for some drips, the rain has disappeared and there will be baseball on time tonight. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets play the middle game of their series against the Miami Marlins. There is a new New York Met, a guy who was a Met for an hour on paper 14 years ago. 37-year-old Jose Bautista brings his 333 career home runs to Flushing. Signed this afternoon. Bautista is here and in the lineup, batting fifth and playing left field tonight.
Well, he took the place of Jay Bruce tonight with the left-hander. The Mets feeling a need for a right-handed bat. And Bautista was six-time All-Star with Toronto, hit 54 home runs, hit 40 home runs twice. They're looking that maybe there's something left in the tank for the 37-year-old outfielder. He's in the lineup today.
Worth taking a flyer on, minimum salary. Mets will play him against left-handers and see what happens. Meanwhile, Zach Wheeler goes to the mound after a dreadful start his last time out.
Yeah, in fact, the Mets have lost his last three starts, but a 27-minute delay because of the weather. He had 3 good innings, couldn't find that spark again, and struggled, giving up 6 runs.
Meanwhile, the lefty Caleb Smith, the former Yankee, goes up against the Mets for the second time.
You know, it's interesting watching Caleb Smith the first time against the Mets. He had some points where he was very good, gave up 3 runs in 5 innings.
Mets have beaten the Marlins 4 out of 4 this year. They go for 5 straight wins overall tonight. It's the Mets and the Marlins at chilly Citi Field. All the action coming your way on SNY. Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, dedicated to advancing cancer research, treatment, and care. More science, less fear. By Cadillac. Visit CadillacTristate.com for exceptional offers. And by the Bullpen Jackpot Sweepstakes from the New York Lottery. Go to sny.tv/New York Lottery to enter. Get to Citi Field for Free Shirt Friday on June 1st when the Mets take on the Cubs. All fans in attendance will receive a Michael Conforto replica jersey, courtesy of Geico. Purchase tickets at Mets.com/tickets. Now time for the Lowe's whole team together. Offensive leaders for the Mets as Drupal Cabrera dominates, leading the team in hits by far, second in RBIs, second in home runs. He has had a phenomenal start to his season, and the Mets hoping for more offense to come with Cespedes and Frazier still on the sidelines. The Jose Bautista era in Mets baseball begins tonight. First pitch coming right up. Starting in left field. The Braves used him at third base for the couple of weeks that he was there. More accustomed to playing right field. But anyway, he's out there in left. And the Mets take a flyer on the slugging outfielder. Hyundai starting lineup for the Marlins. Only one change. That's Derek Dietrich, who is in against the right-hander. He sat last night against the lefty. Marlins struggling right now. 3 straight losses, 13 games under 500. Mets trying to make it 5 for 5 against Miami this year, and they've got their Marlin killer on the mound tonight.
Yeah, the best start Zach Wheeler had all year, as you look at the Toyota numbers, was his first on April 11th when he went 7 strong innings, only giving up a run and 7 strikeouts, but 15 runs allowed in his last 3 starts.
And your Mets Lexus defense. Nito behind the plate. Flores, a left-hander, of course, always at first. Jose Reyes, they're trying to get Jose started. He's getting another start at third base. There you go, guys. Thank you. A little quicker next time, would you? A little Lexus outfield for you. Jose Bautista out in left, his first start. Nimmo got switched over to right field. Very versatile Brandon Nimmo. He can play all 3 outfield positions.
Obviously, we have some guys in the truck have trouble swiping.
Zach Wheeler hoping for no delays tonight. Got off to a great start in his last outing. And then when the grounds crew had to spend 18 minutes soaking up the moisture on the infield, Zach kind of lost his way and only lasted 4 innings against Toronto in a 12-2 Mets loss. That was on Wednesday afternoon. Martin Prado set to dig in to lead things off. Prado, who spent the first part of the season on the disabled list with a hamstring injury, still trying to get going. He was 1 for 4 last night. And Wheeler inaugurates the night with his first pitch, a fastball that misses for ball 1, and we're underway. Prado, then Real Muto, then Bohr for the Marlins. Zach has made 8 career starts against Miami, 3-1, 2.15 in those 8 starts, and that goes back to times when the Marlins had a far more potent offense than they have now. Two hopper for Rosario, and Prado retired for the first out of the night.
You know, I was saying before that he had his best start, his first start against the Marlins this year. He probably had his best start in his career against the Marlins.
It's a 1-0 shutout that he pitched down in Miami. Here's JT Realmuto, who went 0 for 4 last night. And a broken bat looper, and that's going to fall into center field for a base hit. So at the cost of a bat, Realmuto has the first hit of the night.
Well, Tomas Nido spent a lot of time at Mesoraco. Keith was talking about Mesoraco calling a lot of fastballs in. That's the 3rd fastball in already by Wheeler.
Now, I missed Wheeler's last start. Evidently, he had a long inning where he sat down, was throwing well before, but in Cincinnati, Ron, he threw terrific with Mesoraco, and he threw predominantly inside with the fastball.
Here's Justin Bohr up to 3rd in the order against the right-hander, and another inside fastball makes him move his feet. Bohr went 0 for 3 in a walk last night. He's been drawing a ton of walks. In fact, he's 2nd in the league in walks and 10th in on-base percentage. Leads the Marlins with 9 home runs. And the curveball for Wheeler drops in for a strike, 1-1. Zach trying to get something going in his home ballpark. It has been uncanny, the lack of success he's had at Citi Field, really right from the start of his career. He's been terrific on the road, and for some reason not so good on this field. Fastball at the knees for a strike, 1-2. 0-3, 9.56 this year. 8-18, 5.31 for his career at Citi Field.
I mean, this should be, your home park is where you should do your most damage as a starting pitcher. It's the comfortable factor about it.
1-2 coming, and Bohr fouls one off his leg.
Well, it's different if you're pitching for the Rockies or in Cincinnati or something like that, but this is a big enough ballpark.
Or if you're, you know, Ed Whitson at Yankee Stadium.
That's, wow. You find your manager, it takes a lot out of you.
Realmuto, maybe the fastest catcher in the game. He's at first with 1 out. And Bohr just got a piece of that slider. Just stay in there.
9 home runs, Bohr, all against the right-handers. I don't know how he made contact. This is shades of Mookie. The only thing Mookie would have done, Mookie would have probably hit a line drive down the right field line for a triple.
Back inside and just missing at 97 miles an hour. 2-2 to Bohr.
That's the pitch. If they ever go to the robotic umpires, will be a strike, and hitters will not like it because that'll be at the top of the strike zone.
7th pitch of the at bat coming to Bohr. Slider misses, 3-2.
We mentioned about Bohr and his walks, 34 walks, no one to protect him. He's showing much more patience at the plate.
Never had more than 47 walks in a season. He might do that by the end of the month. Runner goes. Moore fouls back the fastball.
Big rip. He does take a cut. And I tell you what, it is a big cut, big, powerful guy, but it's not an overswing. I liked him the first time I saw him. Big monster up there.
Full shift on against Bohr. Reyes, the only infielder on the left side.
Stands in front of the plate, close to the plate.
Ninth pitch coming to Bohr. Real Muto runs. Bohr drives one to center field. Conforto back onto the warning track to get it. And Real Muto retreats. A long second out.
Did that one get towards the end, Ron, or on the label? I'm not sure.
I thought it got on the label a little bit.
Let's take a peek. And I thought it was on the end.
You're right.
A little bit towards the end. That ball just ran away enough. If it didn't run, oh, he's hot. Well, if you'd hit it to left center field, it would have gone out.
Thank God.
You want to run down there and tell?
Thank God you whispered it.
Now Starlin Castro hitting cleanup tonight. Had 2 hits last night, including a triple. Real Muto at first with 2 out. And Castro punches one foul. 0-1. Probably not surprising with all the success Wheeler's had against the Marlins, but there's really nobody in this lineup who's had a whole lot of success against him. Castro 2 for 9. Dietrich 2 for 9. Bohr's now 0 for 5 after flying out. A lot of rosin on that helmet. It is not raining right now, but it's still pretty soggy after raining all afternoon. I got to tell you, when this homestand ends tomorrow, that's a swinging strike. Kerwin Danley called that a swing.
Wow.
Surprisingly so, and it's 0-2. When this homestand is over, the grounds crew should get like a 2-week vacation and a bonus. What an incredible job they've done this last week.
They certainly have.
Hooked on the ground to Rosario. Force play ends the inning. And Zach Wheeler negotiates the first inning successfully. Mets come to bat in the bottom of the first with no score. Lineup change about 6:45 when Jose Bautista walked into the ballpark. He got slotted into that 5-hole, which was to be Jay Bruce tonight. Bruce gets the night off against the left-hander, and Bautista goes right to work as a Met.
Well, Caleb Smith, we saw him earlier in the year. It's Land Rover numbers. His 4 starts prior to his last one against the Dodgers, when he gave up 4 runs in 5 innings of work, his ERA was 1.50 over those 4 starts. limited his walks.
There's your deep defense of the Marlins. Bohr at first. Rojas having a terrific year at shortstop. Always been a Met killer. Brinson, the guy, that big trade they made, a young guy, he's just really having a hard time. Struck out a couple times last night. Over 50 strikeouts on the year, but he can go get him in that outfield.
Let's see the guy he was traded for this weekend when they go to Milwaukee, face Christian Yelich. Brandon Nimmo getting the start against the left-hander, takes a strike. Caleb Smith facing the Mets for the second time, came over from the Yankees in November in a minor league trade. And he has been striking out a lot of people, despite not, being an overpowering pitcher. He's got 57 strikeouts in 42 2/3 innings, 12 strikeouts per 9.
Another guy with a sneaky fastball. Right-handers are hitting 167 against him, and left-handers 286. But the walks have been hurting.
And he gets the fastball over for strike 3 called to add to his K total, and Nimmo is down for the first out.
I mean, that ball split the plate.
Well, I like what I saw from Eliezer Hernandez last night, throwing that fastball aggressively.
Now is Dribble Cabrera. 2 hits last night, doubled and drove in the first Met run in a 2-0 win. Caleb Smith faced the Mets in Miami April 10th, gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. Cabrera had a home run against him in that game. One of the 7 has dribbles hit this year. Starts the night hitting at .325, 4th in the National League. He fouls off a first pitch fastball, 0-1. Well, the Mets have struggled against lefties. That's no secret. It's one of the reasons they went out and signed Bautista today, especially with Frazier and Cespedes out of the lineup. They needed a right-handed bat. How far away those guys are, I think, is really a question as Bautista gets to know his new teammates. Frazier not really doing any running yet, and neither is Cespedes. Backhand play by Rojas, the long throw on target to get Cabrera for the second out. Cespedes took some swings in the cage today. Frazier's taken some batting practice outside, but both are a long way away from coming back from their leg injuries.
There's a case right there. Rojas knows the runner, realizes he can take that little back step for the long hop on the outfield grass, really plant himself and throw. That's about knowing who the runner is. Couldn't do it with a speedster.
Now Wilmer Flores hitting third. Wilmer had an RBI single in the game last night as a pinch hitter. That gave the Mets their insurance run. Things have picked up a bit for Wilmer lately. Last 5 games, 6 for 16 with 4 doubles. And Smith paints the outside corner, 1-1. Cespedes, who still trying to figure it out. I think the Mets, when he first went on the DL, were hoping that he'd be back when he was eligible on the upcoming road trip, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Off the plate to Flores, 3-1. Michael Conforto hitting cleanup tonight is on deck. Mets won last night with minimal offense. Their pitching has been so good over this 4-game winning streak. And it's outside ball 4. Flores is the Mets' first base runner of the night. A 2-out walk. Smith has been walking a ton, just under 5 walks per 9 innings.
Well, that really has been his Achilles heel. Other than that, he's thrown extremely well. I think that Juan Nieves has a big chore in front of him, the pitching coach for the Marlins. A lot of young pitchers that are trying to find their way. He's trying to get them to be very aggressive.
And guys who probably will have their innings limited as well this year. Here's Conforto, 2 hits last night. And goes after a first pitch fastball.
Evidently earlier in the year there were so many walks given up by the starters that Juan Nieves called them all into the office in the clubhouse, showed him the analytics and said, you guys don't start throwing strikes, you're getting sent down. and everything turned around a little bit for him.
It's a good threat.
Yes.
I mean,
So
the Marlins pitchers have walked the second most of any team in the National League. Only the Brave pitchers have walked more, and yet Atlanta's pitching has been really good. So Miami's team ERA is the worst in the league coming into the night at 5.09. They've given up the second most home runs and the second most walks, which is not a good combination. However, Smith has only given up 4 home runs in 9 starts, which is really good. He just missed with a slider, 1-2. Well, there's Jose Bautista. Arrived at LaGuardia about 6:30, got to the ballpark about 6:45, and jumped right into uniform. They were stitching like mad to get the letters on the back of his jersey in time.
You know, Keith, my moment about walks is after the '85 season. Mel Stottlemyre came up to me and said, listen, if you want to be an elite pitcher in the National League, you've got to cut your walks down. Simple as that. That's all I needed to hear, because you want to be.
And what did you do, Ron? 'Cause I remember I was right behind you. I remember when you had the raw fastball, and I love you had sneaky. But what adjustment did you make? What did you do that you became a command pitcher?
I stopped being the first pitch strike is the most important. I wanted to win the battle of the first 3. Because if you don't win the battle of the first one, it defeats you. You've already been defeated in the at-bat, as opposed to winning the first 3 pitches.
Smith strikes out Conforto on the high fastball. He has a couple of strikeouts in the first inning, and we have a scoreless game as we go to the second at Citi Field. Out of market regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription allows you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Brian Anderson leads off for the Marlins in the second, the newly minted right fielder. And for a guy who had never played the outfield before this year, he's handled himself awfully well out there.
Yeah, he has, and he's got a cannon.
He's the only rookie in the majors this year who's played in every one of his team's games. And that's what you get when you play for a franchise that's trying to build its way back up. You get opportunity to play all the time.
Same with Brinson in center field, right?
Anderson 0 for 3 last night, and Wheeler throws a fastball on the outer half by him, 2-2. Zach's got a little different look tonight. It's like he's shorn just about everything there was to shear.
It's funny, Gary, when you go through a bad streak, you will change everything. You'll stop shaving for a start. You'll cut your hair short. You leave it long. I mean, you change your T-shirt.
Anderson lines one into left center for a base hit. Bautista tries to get to it in the gap, slides to a stop. Anderson, though, will easily go to second base with a leadoff double. Nice effort by Bautista to keep that ball from going to the wall.
Boy, this ball really just kept skimming on that outfield grass here. Nicely done to keep it from going out to the wall and prevented a triple, potential triple.
You know, not the same now, but there was a time when Bautista was considered par with Cespedes' arm in right field, had that kind of cannon himself.
Second hit for the Marlins. Here's Dietrich. And he gets jammed and fouls it back. Dietrich didn't start last night, came off the bench, went 1 for 2 with a double. He's played most of the left field this year for the Marlins.
Sorry, Gary, he had the big strikeout, though, with the bases loaded against Ramos.
Dietrich, another guy, began as an infielder and has become a competent outfielder. And he lines one into left center. That's a base hit. Anderson was moving back to the bag, thinking that might be a line drive that could be caught. And so he only goes as far as third. But 2 straight ropes, and it's first and third, nobody out.
Watch him turn his back to the ball, though, Garrett. Just lost view of it, and he wasn't going to score anyway. That ball was a laser beam.
Keith, do you think that growing up playing the game a certain way and you get to the major leagues and all the shifts, you forget your place on the field and where the ball is headed, that's usually the shortstop position?
I think that it makes it more incumbent on you as a base runner to really, before you can look, and I would never look at the infield position. It was always the same. I'd look where the outfielders were, how shallow they were, or deep, where they were shaded. But now that you're a base runner, you have to look at every position except catcher.
And maybe every pitch.
Yes, no question.
Miguel Rojas, 1 for 3 last night. He has a home run and 3 career at bats against Wheeler, who's trying to negotiate second inning trouble now against the lower third of the order with Brinson on deck and then the pitcher. And Rojas takes a fastball for a strike, and it's 0-2. Zach has averaged a strikeout per inning this year, 38 strikeouts and 38 innings coming in. And in a spot where he could really use a strikeout or 2. Anderson at third, Dietrich at first with nobody out. And Rojas watches high, 1-2.
That home run against Wheeler was in that April 11th game in the first inning.
And that's the only run that Zach gave up in 7 innings in that start. Nino sets up inside. Wheeler checks in on Dietrich, who is not a stolen base threat. In fact, the Marlins do less running than any team in the National League. It was surprising for a team that is so offensively challenged.
Yes, they're last in a lot of categories.
Only 10 steals in their first 47 games.
10 steals, caught 8 times. So it's not even a good percentage.
Marlins are last in home runs, last in runs scored, last in steals, last in slugging, last in walks.
Yep. 13th in BA, and that is the lowest. Arizona, who got 3 hits last night. They're down to 217. They are plummeting as an offensive team.
They finally fell into first place last night. Hit sharply through the hole, a base hit, and that'll bring in the game's first run. Anderson trots in to score. 3 straight hits for the Marlins to start the second inning. Rojas drives in the run, and it's 1-0 Miami.
Well, Rojas once again a thorn in the Mets side. He always plays well against the Mets offensively. There you go. Take that pitch right where it's at, right where it's on the outside corner, going right with it.
Boy, in RBI situations, right-handed hitters, they learned how to do this like Rojas just did. His RBIs aplenty over there.
Well, you said it last night in Wilmer Flores' at bat, how he changes his approach with 2 strikes. Something that used to be the norm and now is the exception. And it pays off for Rojas and the Marlins. Now Lewis Brinson, who was 0 for 4 last night with 2 strikeouts. And a first pitch curveball laced to left. Bautista judges it well, and that's the first out. Now the runners hold.
Hanging breaking ball here that Brinson just pulled off. And if he had stayed in that front shoulder, oh my word. But you can see that front shoulder fly out. Didn't have the extension he needed to get the barrel on that ball.
So that's the first out of the inning. Now Caleb Smith, who has 3 sacrifice bunts this year and will probably be asked to try and lay another one down. Pops it up, and Reyes plays it on the hop. He had to play it second, didn't take it, and then the throw to first isn't handled, and everybody's safe. Indecision by Reyes after playing that short hop. He had an easy out at second at Rojas, but did not throw it there. And by the time he threw to first, it was a little late and a little low and couldn't be handled.
Well, Jose's not a third baseman here, and when you got someone out of position, stuff like this happens. Okay, you can't get it. It's like he wanted to go to first. He said, oh, I might have a shot at second. Let's go back to first. And all hands are safe.
It'll be charged with sacrifice and an E5 on Reyes for the low throw. And that loads the bases with 1 out. And now Martin Prado takes the curveball inside.
You know what that looked like to me? That looked like someone yelled 2-2-2. There's a runner at first. Rojas, he didn't know if it was going to be caught or not.
It's good base running on Rojas. He couldn't break. I think Jose would have been better served just to play it safety first.
Well, I mean, if he throws that ball to second, he's out by 20 feet.
What I think happened is that Reyes, once he fielded it, he was going to first. And all he heard was 2-2-2. That's why he turned to look, and he got confused.
But he's a veteran player. Even though he hasn't played a lot of third base, you have to know in that situation, if you short hop the ball like that, the runners have to hold. Now, you don't have a play at third because there's nobody covering, but you got the shortstop covering second. You know, Reyes has played enough shortstop to know Rosario's going to be there.
It's a baseball 101. You're right.
I mean, the wheels have come off for Jose in a way that is a little stunning. Prado pops one up. Infield fly rule should be called, and it is, and that's the second out.
Prado is just really, since coming back, has really struggled at the dish, and this is a quality hitter. Oh, not even 100 at bats yet in the season for Martin.
So it's left to Realmuto as Wheeler tries to limit the damage here in this second inning, an inning that should already be over. Realmuto broke his bat and dumped a single into center field his first time up. 3 straight hits, a line drive out, the error on the sacrifice bunt. Wheeler gets the big second out on Prado, and now trying to seal the deal against Realmuto. And comes up and in for ball 1.
Now, Keith, you didn't make many errors, but if you did make one in an inning and the bases are loaded, there's a part of you going, come on, big man, pick me up.
You never want to make an error that hurts your pitcher, hurts your team. You just out there going, please, let's get out of this.
Past the mound toward the middle, and it's That sneaks in for a base hit, and that'll bring in 2. Dietrich and Rojas score. All the way to third goes Smith, and down to second base goes Real Muto. A seeing eye 2-run hit for JT Real Muto makes it 3-0 Miami.
Well, that's going to get a visit to the mound by Dave Island. Here's the base hit, and it look okay. It's playing a pull. That is what you'd call a seeing eye base hit right there. The mistake here is Conforto trying to throw to third. No chance. Oh, little kick save there. Conforto threw to third, had no chance, allowed the back runner, which was Real Muto, to advance alertly to second base. Now, 2-out base hit. This is going to be a 5-0 game.
Now the question is who you want to face. And Mickey Callaway addressed this yesterday. He said, I don't want to walk people early in the game, but this is the one guy who can crush you.
Yeah,
now you got a good hitter on deck, but still.
The only way you wouldn't walk him is because you're fearful of Wheeler's control and walking a run in. But I would walk him personally. This is the guy that ends the game kind of guy, you know?
I mean, again, Castro's a good hitter on deck, but he's a right-hand bat, and he's not the game breaker that Bohr is.
I'm going to ask you a question here, Ron. If we can get to it real quick after this pitch. You've got a guy like Wheeler who struggles with command, and you're going to have him pitch around. And he's being extra careful. Would that be not beneficial for his rhythm as opposed to just give him 4?
Yeah, you're trying to be so careful that sometimes the next batter comes up and you're all of a sudden 2-0 because you've lost kind of your tunnel of strikes.
Bohr bounces the curveball foul, and now Wheeler's ahead 1-2.
I know in the days when you used to have to intentionally walk guys, throw 4 pitches. My thoughts were never on throwing the pitch, the 4 pitches, was just thinking about how it's going to pitch the next guy. That's all I thought about.
Wheeler trying to finally put this inning to bed. And he misses inside 2-2.
Well, he's taking that pitch in very easy, isn't he?
Wheeler's throwing hard. He's always got that good electric fastball. It's just, it's command.
25 pitches deep into this second inning. And now Bohr fouls the slider at the plate. Bohr the 8th man to bat in the inning with Castro on deck. And he pops it up. Reyes hoping for a play. It'll be out of play.
You know, I say this all the time up here. There's a half dozen outs you have to get as a starting pitcher. Maybe less now because you don't go as deep, to have a good game. Real Muto was the first one. That didn't work out. This is number 2. Got to have this out.
Smith at third, Real Muto at second with 3 runs already home in the inning. 7th pitch of the at bat to Bohr, and he struck him out to end the inning. First strikeout of the day for Wheeler. 3 runs scored, 2 of them unearned after the Reyes error. That's now in a 3-0 hole in the second. Sure, but this could have been the flight that Jose Bautista came in on from Tampa this afternoon, landing at LaGuardia.
We'll let you know.
Well done. Look at that.
It's perfect landing.
Get down.
Right down the middle.
Get down. Get it down. Get down. Now keep it down. Get down. Get down. There we go.
Remember that chant we used to?
Get it up. Get it up. Now keep it up.
Well, fresh off his Delta flight, Jose Bautista about to make his Mets debut 14 years after the Mets first traded for him. It was right before the trading deadline in 2004. The Mets sent a prospect named Justin Huber to Kansas City, got Bautista, and then turned around and traded him to Pittsburgh for Chris Benson. Well, now the Mets finally have him in uniform. And the question is, does Bautista have anything left?
Signature big leg kick.
Last year for Toronto, he hit just .203, hit 23 home runs. Sat on the free agent market all winter. The Braves finally signed him, and after a brief minor league trial, brought him up for 2 weeks, played 12 games. Then, after he hit $143, they released him. And now the Mets taking a flyer on him.
I was talking to some folks in Atlanta while he was there. He was struggling with the real good heat, 94 and above. Still was hitting the breaking ball pretty good.
Now 37 years old. .333 career home runs. A guy who took a while to find himself in the big leagues. Kind of a so-so player in Pittsburgh for 4 years, then went to Toronto and exploded. He had 54 home runs his first full year in Toronto.
I know he talked about it. He said early in his career, a lot of the teams that he was on wanted him to hit the ball on the ground, line drives, and he just said, you know what, I'm a home run hitter.
But remember his Pittsburgh days, he just didn't look like a power hitter. He was a thin, tall, lanky, thin guy, and didn't look, I mean, look at him. He's not what you have, like, say, as a powerful physique, but boy, oh boy.
But he was a guy who pulled the ball and hit the ball in the air, and now he hits the ball in the air down the left field line, and that's going to bury itself into the corner. A fair ball, and Bautista has an extra base hit in his first at bat as a Met. A leadoff double. And he's even got the salt and pepper going.
Already.
Fastball in, got in on him, but look at that. He's always had that level follow through on the pitch up. Kind of pigeon-toed up there. Leg kick.
Elias said shortest time between landing at LaGuardia and hitting a double in Flushing history.
So the Mets have their first hit against Caleb Smith, and now Jose Reyes trying to atone for his error that cost the Mets a couple of runs. Reyes making his 10th start of the year. He's just 2 for 22 in the month of May, after it looked like maybe he had a little spark going toward the end of April, but nothing has gone right for Reyes yet. Pickoff try, and Bautista gets the hand back in.
That was a time play from the catcher. Now sometimes the catcher will put that play on, because Caleb Smith wasn't looking at his shortstop, he was looking at his catcher.
Well, if you're Miguel Rojas stopping that tag, just remember Bautista's history with middle infielders. Backdoor breaking ball, that catches the corner, and it's 1-1.
Boy, when it rains, it pours. When you are struggling, every close pitch is called the opposite way.
Mike Estabrook, the home plate umpire, calling a strike on a ball that looked like it went around the plate.
Yeah, he's a Nito on deck. He's a pitcher-friendly umpire.
Slap to the right side, that'll advance the runner. Castro throws out Reyes, but a productive out gets Bautista to third with 1 out. And now Tomas Nido will try and get the run in. Nito hitting just 154, but in limited chances he's done well against lefties. 3 hits and 8 at bats. Getting the start today after Devin Mesoraco took a bat to the elbow during the game last night and his elbow swelled up. Mesoraco is available, could have played if necessary tonight, and plans to be in the lineup tomorrow. So he's still wearing that sleeve over that left elbow, which he says is causing him no pain, but it was a little scary how it swelled up all of a sudden. That actually happened last night in the 4th inning. It wasn't until the 7th that he really required any attention.
We missed it. We didn't pick it up. It's very unlike us.
I was learning about a high ball. I wasn't paying attention.
It was an educational night for you.
Yeah.
One-two to Nito, and he lifts it out to right. That'll get the run in. Anderson back. Bautista tags and comes home to score. Sacrifice fly for Nito, and the Mets have their first run of the night. It's now 3-1 Miami.
How to win friends and influence people.
He's been in the ballpark for an hour. He already has a double and a run scored. Welcome to the club. Now Wheeler pops one up in foul ground. Prado hoping for room and runs out of it. Wheeler 3 for 12 at the plate this year. Nice to see a Met pitcher who's allowed to swing the bat. I mean, 40% of the rotation is prohibited from swinging.
He's got that brace on too, right? To stop the hyper extension.
I think any pitcher that exposes his arm to the ball like Wheeler, yes, wear it.
Third strikeout for Caleb Smith as he gets Wheeler to end the second, but Jose Bautista with a nice first trip around the bases for the Mets. With the 3 players who have 1,000 or more hits as a Marlin. Good luck with that.
Well, Mr. Marlin's got to be one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Third baseman.
Yeah.
Center fielder, former Met.
Yeah.
Those are your three?
That's my three. I like when we talk in code. Should do a whole game.
Not
like
really
that.
good enough code. we need some kind of.
I can bring it deeper if you want.
Clicks and X's.
Go to the cone of silence.
That thing never works.
Go Cold War on you.
Starlin Castro leads off the third inning against Zach Wheeler, 3-1 Miami. And the curveball in the dirt for ball one. Castro grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up. Wheeler gave up 3 runs in the second, 2 of them unearned. But it was a slog for him, 28 pitches in that second inning. Castro, then Anderson and Dietrich for Miami in the third. Mets have played this interesting shift against Castro in several of his at-bats, with Rosario all the way over in the hole, but Cabrera staying on the right side.
Well, it worked in the first at-bat. He hit it right to Rosario. I just think with the speed of Wheeler, hard to leave that up the middle open for Castro, in my opinion, but they have the numbers.
Wheeler goes upstairs to strike out Castro, his second strikeout of the night.
We don't see much of this from Wheeler, so it's nice to see rewarded for that ball up in the strike zone.
But you have to think that everybody's working on this now. We know that Syndergaard is trying to, and it only makes sense that anybody who's got some velocity is going to try to be working up in the zone now.
I would throw a lot of more four-seam fastballs if I pitched today. Absolutely.
And just every 5th day, if you're watching a ball game, you're seeing Mr. DeGrom go out there with tremendous success.
Yeah.
Watch him tomorrow night.
He's got a PhD, though. You know, we aspire to get there.
You know, we have gone through stages over the last dozen years where we had St. Pedro Day, we had Harvey Day. When are we going to start designating DeGrom Day?
Yes, he's a simple man. Just leave him alone, Barry.
The way that he is going right now, he is having a Cy Young caliber start to his season. City probables tomorrow. Dan Straley has been the best the Marlins have had, going up against DeGrom, who's been the best the Mets have had.
Well, maybe this is the best compliment you can get from your manager and pitching coach. They've talked about Wheeler, Matz, Syndergaard even, still developing. They never say one thing like that about DeGrom. Not once.
Well, here's a reminder, though, about DeGrom compared to those other guys. He's going to be 30 next month.
He's going to be 30, but he's fully developed. PhD, like I said.
2-2 to Anderson, and he fouls away the fastball. Wheeler's had a good fastball tonight. His average fastball velocity this year 94.5, but he's been more in the 96 to 98 range tonight. Dietrich on deck. 2-2 to Anderson. Bounced over third, just foul.
Change up there, you think?
Splitter?
Splitter, maybe, yeah, splitter more at 91. Makes sense, Gary.
Those are the career numbers for Wheeler, who with his last start saw his career ERA go over 4 for the first time since very early in his rookie year. Anderson fouls off another one. Anderson double to left center his first time up. This will be the 8th pitch of this at bat from Wheeler. And he got him looking. Knee-high fastball. Anderson barks at Mike Estabrook and then walks away, an unhappy customer.
That ball's right there, Rook. They should drop the Jeep pitch cast on him.
Drop the rook on him. No, that's not chess either.
Where's the Jeep pitch cast? Because that is all over the knee.
That's a knee strike, yeah.
There we go. Now watch me be wrong.
No, that's knee high.
Not only that, but Nito handled it really nicely.
It's right down the pipe, too. It's a pitch to hit.
Dietrich takes a curveball for a strike. So Wheeler, after giving up the 3 runs, has now struck out his last 3 hitters. Moore to end the second, Castro and Anderson to start the third. And now he's ahead on Dietrich, 0-2. Dietrich singled to left center in the second inning and scored a run. Now the 0-2. Dietrich fouls back a fastball. You know, it strikes me that it's really easy to say that a pitcher should throw more fastballs up in the zone, and really not that easy to execute.
It's an art.
If it's not something you do regularly. Dietrich flies one out to left. Bautista coming toward the line. And that retires the side. Wheeler has his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. We go to the bottom of the third with the Mets down 3-1. The Mets take on the Cubs at 7:15. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a Todd Frazier BP pullover, courtesy of Nikon. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets.
That's a good giveaway, huh? Flavor Frazier, BP pullover.
BP pullover. Ahmed Rosario leads off in the home third with the Mets down 3-1. Facing Caleb Smith, and he takes a fastball away for ball 1. Rosario 1 for 3 last night. He's hitting over 300 against lefties this year. Well, his exploits in the 9-hole have been well chronicled.
Good cut.
And it does not appear as though he's going to be moved out of that spot anytime soon. No reason he should be.
You know, the Cubs did that with Addison Russell, and it made a difference. That's when he had his big year.
Ooh. Well, and also, until Rosario can raise his on-base percentage to something a little more respectable, it makes sense for him to be batting 9th. I mean, He's had a little success swinging the bat now, but he's still stuck on 4 walks in 136 official at bats this year.
That's 20 walks for a season about.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
275 on base percentage starting the night.
It's a good month for you, Keith.
And he swings at a high fastball, 3-2.
Doesn't need to overswing. He's hit 2 home runs. And back off.
But that gets tempting, right? That,
Yes, it does.
That home run is an elixir.
Yes, it is.
And Smith comes back to strike him out. 4th of the night for Smith, first time through the batting order.
Too big a swing here. 2 in a row, too. Just watch him just load it up. Watch the follow through. It's too big. Line drive. 23-degree angle. Focus.
Here's Brandon Nimmo. We're still getting comfortable facing left-handers. Mickey Callaway was asked about leaving Nimmo in the leadoff spot against lefties. And he drives this one out to right field. And Anderson goes back to the track to get it for the second out. Mickey said, I have enough respect for Nimmo's ability to judge the strike zone that even if he's not hitting lefties, I think he can still get on base in that leadoff spot. And he struck that ball well against the lefty.
He did.
So 2 out and nobody on now. Cabrera, who grounded out to short his first time. Caleb Smith, 26 years old, and of Sam Houston State, which is in his hometown of Huntsville, Texas. Behind the bag, fair ball. Prado with the 1-hop throw in time to get Cabrera like he was playing on AstroTurf.
Well planned.
I think he was playing at Yale Field. 3-1 after 3. Fourth inning, 3-1 Miami. Zach Wheeler faces the lower third of the Miami batting order. Miguel Rojas, who drove in the first Marlins run with an opposite field single in the second. And he takes a curveball low and away. Rojas, Brinson, and Smith for Miami in the fourth. After Wheeler got the side in order in the third for the first time tonight. Rojas getting a chance to play every day. He asked him about his prolific home run output early this season. He said, that's it. I've always had that ability. He said, in fact, he said, after hitting 7 home runs this season, after only 4 in 4 years, he said, I want to be in the home run derby this year. He said, I think I could do really well.
Well,
someone's got to come off that team and represent Miami in the All-Star game.
I would think Real Muto is probably the leading candidate.
What was it? Ron Hunt that one year was the lone Met. What was who was the first Met All-Star?
Well, Richie Ashburn, I
Yeah,
think,
okay,
in
right.
62, but Ron Hunt started the All-Star game in 64 when it was played at Shea.
so Rojas had 5 home runs in his first 358 games, 7 in 47 this year.
Right. So I'd say the next step is the home run derby.
That seems like a bit of a leap for me, but
Obviously not for him. Didn't get the launch angle that time. Rosario with a nice play. Throws out Rojas one away. Steve Gelbs is on semester break from his mixology course, and he joins us tonight. Steve?
He's back.
Gary, thank you very much. Here with just a water in my camera well. But listen, Adrian Gonzalez didn't get the start tonight. Doesn't mean that he's not at least attempting to have an impact on tonight's game. One of the main reasons that the Mets brought Adrian Gonzalez in this offseason was to be a leader. And he has really done that. And one of the ways he did it after Zach Wheeler's last start was to bring Wheeler into the video room and show him some video of Kurt Schilling and Roger Clemens and the way they utilized their splitters. Zach Wheeler's got a new toy in the splitter, but right now hasn't been so confident using it. And what Gonzalez was trying to get across to Wheeler is that if you establish that pitch, especially with 2 strikes as a wipeout pitch, it's going to force hitters to swing earlier in the counts. They're not going to want to get to 2 strikes and risk swinging over that pitch. And that's the way, if you really start to establish that pitch and make hitters swing early, that you get deeper into games. So Adrian Gonzalez trying to bring something to the pitching staff as well as the hitters on this team.
you see him teaching right there on the bench, even though he's not in the lineup.
0-2 to Brinson.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
The split finger, you've got to have a feeling that the grip will set you free. All you have to do is grip it right, and you throw it as hard as you can.
They don't want him throwing it anymore, Ronnie, and I wish they had come to that conclusion. There's another strikeout from Brinson. I just think Brinson is totally overmatched. But the split finger, I wish they had made that decision that they've made now when I played.
Yeah,
that
right.
pitch made it so difficult. We go in that giant rotation with Roger Craig. They all had it. Mike Lacoste was just a little sinker slider pitcher.
Buffy.
Mike Lacoste.
Buffy.
And
That was his nickname.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Because he had the Buffy hairdo.
right. And when he got the splitter, it made him an above average pitcher or an average pitcher. I never mind facing him, but once he got that splitter, it was a different weapon he had. It's a tough pitch to read. It made all the difference in the world for Lacoste.
Well, it feels as though it's coming back a little bit. I think, you know, we didn't see the splitter for years until Tanaka came over and kind of reintroduced it at the big league level.
Oh, you've seen the success Ohtani has with it, and others.
Curveball, strike 3 called. And another strong inning for Zach Wheeler. He's got 5 strikeouts in the last 7 batters. Middle of the 4th, 3-1 Miami. 1,000 hits as a Marlin. We figured Lowell.
Conine.
Oh, Hanley.
We got one right.
Conine we got right.
Of course,
We thought it was Juan Pierre, but Castillo should have got that right.
Hanley Ramirez.
Hanley, I didn't think he was there long enough, but he hit 342 that 1 year.
He got a batting title.
Let's see who's fourth. Lowell is fourth. Stanton is fifth, and Cabrera is sixth.
Wow, I didn't think he was there long enough either. Dave in those trivia questions kind of funny, isn't he? Dave Freed.
Like he looks them up, and then he's so proud about knowing it.
But he also tries to make you feel bad because you don't know it, but he has the answer in front of him.
That's the deal. He's like the teacher with the answer book.
I had Dave figured out when I was playing. He was scared to death of me.
Well, he was just an intern then.
He wouldn't come near me.
By the way, everyone was afraid of you when you played.
Well, Flores leading off. By the way, nobody's afraid of him now.
Oh,
that's right.
He's got a cat. How scary can he be?
He's right. Yes.
He's very welcoming.
2 surgeries, another one on the way. I'm done.
Wilmer walked his first time up, and he takes a borderline strike, and Mike Estabrook has another unhappy customer at the plate.
You know what happens in these dugouts now, they have the tendencies of the home plate umpires and what they call and where their hot zones are. So before the game is even started, some of the players are half defeated.
Out to right center, Anderson gets over. And Flores retired, 1 away.
You know what I'm saying? It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You kind of know where his hot zone is, so the first time he calls a pitch that you think's off the plate in that hot zone that he likes to call, it makes you mad.
Well, that's in the Marlins dugout. And you can see right there the umpire hot zones in red.
Yep.
So that pitch away to the right-hand batter, he calls a lot of strikes out there.
Do you really need that? Do you really need it? I mean, come on.
Well, I think Ronnie's point is an excellent one. It's almost as though you're going up there with negative thoughts in your head, and that can't help you as a hitter, can it?
I mean, you had a National League umpires and American League umpires, so there was less umpires to know. Now there's no longer that. But still, you've been around long enough. You know what the umpires' tendencies are.
Also, I think you have to remember this. Umpires are human. They have different days. Some days they're just going to, they're going to be on the other part of the strike zone.
I mean, you certainly can't count on that, right?
No.
I mean, if it says he doesn't call as many strikes, say on the inside corner at the knees, and you then take a borderline pitch as a result, and he calls it a strike, well, what have you done to yourself?
See the ball and hit it.
1-2 to Conforto.
It's very simple, Gary.
Oh,
you can't have all that garbage in your brain.
Well, and I think that really becomes what coaching and managing is all about now.
Yeah.
As you try and take all the information that's available and filter it down to a message that a player can handle without overload, and knowing which players can handle how much.
The individual message.
You saw the chart against the right-handers for Estabrook.
Yeah.
And all you got to tell the hitter, hey, he calls the outside strike. The borderline outside pitch is he calls it a strike. You don't need a chart.
Well, some guys are more visual, Keith.
By the way,
strikes out for the second time. That's 5 now for Caleb Smith, who's retired 8 in a row.
You're the one who loves your colors and markers and everything. How come you can't appreciate the chart?
Well, up and in, got him. This kid's coming after everybody. I like him, little Caleb.
Boy, that's a great shot of his arm pronating on that fastball, right?
So 2 out. Here's Bautista, who in his first game as a Met has the Mets' only hit. He doubled down the left field line and scored a run in the second.
He's not messing around.
Yeah, that's not usually the ball strike ratio for a guy who's had trouble walking people. He took the Juan Nieves message to heart.
Well, there's the message, and then there's the execution to put the message into practice. 1-2 coming, and Bautista fouls one off. And he goes down swinging on the breaking ball, and that ends the bottom of the fourth. 6 strikeouts for Caleb Smith, who's now retired 9 in a row. After 4, 3-1 Miami. Wheeler has hit his stride these last couple of innings. He's retired 7 in a row, striking out 5 of the 7 after a difficult second inning that cost him 3 runs. He'll face the top of the batting order for the Marlins 3rd time through as we go to the 5th inning. And Martin Prado takes first pitch strike. Prado is grounded to short and then came up with the bases loaded in the 2nd, but popped up. Prado, Realmuto, and Bohr at the top of the Miami order in the 5th. And a half swing, he went around. 1-2. And Prado takes a slider for strike 3 called. That is 6 strikeouts in the last 8 batters for Zach Wheeler. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Fios, the best way to watch your Mets all season long. Get the 100% fiber optic network. Visit getfios.com. Didn't have a strikeout his first 11 batters. Has 6 in the last 8 batters.
3 swinging and 3 looking.
JT Realmuto is already 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs tonight. He had a broken bat bloop to center that fell in the 1st, and a 17-hop single up the middle that drove in 2 runs in the 2nd. So they haven't been things of beauty, but Realmuto working on a productive night, and he takes a curveball for a strike 0-2. He's thrown a lot of curveballs early in the count. Check the count, it's 1-1. And a roller down to first. And Realmuto is finally retired. 2 out. Well, each pitcher is now retired 9 in a row.
It's another nice inning for Zach. Getting that curveball over. Taking a little something off and a little bite.
Yeah, 1-0 curveball for a strike.
So now Justin Bohr has had 2 very long at bats tonight. 9-pitch at bat in the first inning. He fly deep to center, and then a 7-pitch at bat in the second. He struck out to end the inning.
How would you like to be a gladiator and they throw you in the ring with boar?
Where did that come from?
Do we know if he's good with a lance? Can he joust?
Maybe with the net and the trident.
Looks more like a wrestling kind of guy.
There's that splitter from Wheeler, which continues to work with. Didn't start throwing until that start in San Diego. Makes this, what, the 4th game that he's used it?
Well, you get knocked around, you got to figure out something to get these hitters out.
Or pops one up in foul ground. That'll go out of play. Well, the splitter's not a new pitch.
Yeah. You know what's funny is that when I first started throwing it was more of a splitter, but the more I threw it, the more space I got between my fingers, and it kind of morphed into a forkball, which is a little slower with a little bigger break.
So the further you spread your fingers apart, the slower it is?
The slower it is, the more break it has. For me, it did.
How does a hitter experience that, though? Is a forkball different from a splitter from your perspective?
Well, I've never faced Ron, and I saw a lot of guys swing and miss. The forkball can't be thrown with the velocity of the splitter, but it does break more because it's slower. It breaks down more.
So does that make it easier to identify, or hooks one into right for a base hit?
Well, I faced Diego Segui, believe it or not. I'm dating myself, the old Oakland A relief pitcher who threw a splitter, and it's more of a tumbler, and you can read it much easier, but you cannot read the split finger. It comes in like a fastball.
That was the change up there by.
I was going to ask you about that, Ronnie. Why, if he's throwing a splitter, is he still throwing a circle change as well?
I don't know why, especially since the splitter has been very successful against Bohr in this game.
Here's Castro, is 0 for 2. Going to do a forced play and struck out. And he hits one slowly down to Reyes. Tough play on the move. And a close play, and it bounces on by Flores. Bohr breaks for third. He'll stop there. Castro goes to second. Reyes' rough night continues. Probably wasn't going to get Castro anyway, but then he spiked the throw, and Flores had no chance to pick it.
Clear base hit. And again, Jose his whole life has been a shortstop.
So it's a single for Castro, an error on Reyes, his second of the night, to put runners at second and third.
Out number 3 that Wheeler has to get. Anderson took a called third strike in his last at bat. Be very wary of that hitter. First pitch, his next at bat. Ready to swing.
Wow. And takes another fastball for a strike. Remember, he moaned about that third strike call that was clearly a strike at the knees. Doubled his first time up tonight. Bohr at third, Castro at second with 2 out. Wheeler now up over 90 pitches for the night. No action in the Mets bullpen. And Anderson fouls it away. And it's 0-2.
Of all the young players, Dietrich on deck, I think Anderson has a nice upside. Looks like a good player to me.
He's 25 years old, out of the University of Arkansas. Wheeler's got him in an 0-2 hole. The late swing foul goes into the Mets dugout. Like everybody ducked successfully. It might have taken out the dugout phone.
Got the phone box. There was something in there. Had a loud noise.
unfortunately was nobody's person.
Yeah.
Phone still intact.
No, it might be a mark there at the bottom.
0-2 in the dirt. Nice block by Nito to keep that ball in front of him and keep Bohr at third.
Anderson's got a little bit of a choke up on the bat with 2 strikes.
One-two coming. Foul tip held by Nito. Strike 3. Big strikeout for Wheeler to strand 2 more in scoring position. 7 Ks for Zach in the first 5 innings. And it keeps the Mets around. Halfway through, still 3-1 Miami. Home 5th inning. Jose Reyes leads off for New York against Caleb Smith, and he thinks about a bunt and takes ball 1. Reyes grounded out his first time up. He's made 2 throwing errors in the field. Prado even with the bag at third. Bohr still a step back at first, and Reyes no look at a bunt this time, and that slider missed somewhere, and it's 2-0.
Yep. Smith thought he had a strike there. Not happy with that call.
Tomas Nido on deck, and then Zach Wheeler. Mets have action going in their bullpen. Wheeler at 95 pitches through 5 innings, so he might be done for the night.
Smith took a little off and kind of just laid it in there.
Get me over fastball.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Robert Gesellman, first man up in the Mets bullpen.
Good
And
change.
Reyes badly fooled by that changeup, and it's 2-2.
I like this left-hander.
Mets knocked him around a little bit the first time they saw him, but they've managed just 1 run in 4 innings tonight. And Reyes hits one down the left field line, curling toward the stands. A foul ball. See Darnold, Bridgewater, and Nunua, and more with complete coverage and video straight from the Jets' first OTA on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Reyes lines one into right center for a base hit. So the Mets got the leadoff man on in the 5th, just their 2nd hit of the night. And it's the 30-plus crowd that has the hits. Bautista and Reyes.
Ball up in the strike zone.
Former Blue Jays with the hits.
Yeah, there you go. now Tomas Nido, who drove in the Mets' only run tonight with a sacrifice fly. And he hits one on the ground. Prado to second. Castro to first for the double play. And quickly 2 men down.
Boy, the great equalizer, RJ.
Yeah. Little first pitch changeup rolled over by Nido. And after that, elementary.
Double play is always the rally killer. The twin killing.
The pitcher's best friend.
Easy turn there for Castro. Can't knock, you can't slide into him anymore. Nor was there any opportunity to there.
So Wheeler's going to take the time at bat. Don't know if he's going to stay in the pitch. It's hard to know these days because with a 4-man bench, 2 out and nobody on, you're not inclined to waste a pinch hitter in this spot, even if you're taking him out. Oh. That's line to center field, and Wheeler's got a hit. That's his 4th hit of the year in just 14 at bats. It's the best he's ever swung the bat in the big league.
How about that? Little inside out.
Well, he worked all winter, Keith, on his approach against left-handed pitching, and it's really paying off.
Right down the pipe. Nicely done.
Just sawed off the left center.
So that gets Rosario to the plate with a man on. And he takes a strike on the outside and change up. Rosario got ahead in the count 3-1 his last time up, and then took a couple of big rips and struck out. It's a measure of how aggressive Rosario is that only once this year has he gotten a count to 3-0. Once.
Wow.
Balls and strike.
Well, I don't know what to think about those socks there. Put the stripes up high.
Stripes down low.
What is that?
I like them better than the Skyline socks that the guys sometimes wear.
They look like Greaves to me almost. Garrett, tell me about your socks. I understand that you're wearing some interesting.
Well, my wife got me these. They're got balls and bats.
Whoa!
Big league.
Yeah, it's a little thematic sock usage. Morrow did the pop up by Rosario, and that retires the sign.
Put it on Keith's clothing line.
I'm sure he'd sell $1 million. Keith's a good salesman.
I am.
That's what Twitter's for. Empire City Casino. It was 20 years ago today that the Mets and the Marlins made the deal that brought Mike Piazza to New York in exchange for Jeff Getz, Ed Yarnell, and Preston Wilson.
It didn't go swimmingly in the beginning,
No.
right? It took some time.
Mike, that first year, Bobby Valentine was the manager, if I remember correctly. And he was getting jammed so badly, and the adjustment coming over. And I remember going to Bobby going, Bob, what the heck's going on? Bob said, he'll be fine. Don't worry about him.
Well, the other piece about that is that Mike got booed, and he got booed a lot during that first year when he was struggling. And remember, he was a free agent at the end of that year.
The fans booing know that he was a free agent?
Well, a lot of people were concerned that because of all the booing that he might be disinclined to re-up with the Mets.
Right. I remember that.
But things then got better toward the end of the year, and he signed the 7-year contract, and that kept him in a Mets uniform for the long term.
And he lived up to that 7-year contract.
Well, Zach Wheeler's still out there chucking.
He's actually throwing pretty doggone good. Seems to have found a rhythm.
Hasn't thrown more than 100 pitches in a start this year. He's at 98 now as he faces Derek Dietrich to start the 6th.
He has these streaks within games where he's got it on time. You know,
And he strikes out Dietrich for his 8th of the night.
we can't forget how he looked the first 3 innings of his last start. Just like this.
He's throwing well.
Little tail on that one.
Well, he's had the one bad inning today, which was exacerbated by an error made behind him.
And the Real Muto ground ball hit.
Well, the part of that inning that's on him were the 3 straight bullets that he gave up to start the inning.
It's true.
Actually 4 straight, because Brinson had a bullet that Bautista caught as well. Rojas takes a fastball for a strike. So now a season high for Wheeler in terms of pitch count. He's thrown as many as 120 in his career. That came back in 2014 before the Tommy John surgery.
It's one of those that's a strike, but because the catcher has to catch it across his body, you don't get it from the umpire.
Zalman staying busy in the bullpen. Rojas drove in the first Miami run with an opposite field single in the second. Trying to go the other way again and fouls it off. 1-2.
Zach keeps pouring strikes in there. Doesn't look like he's overthrowing, Ron.
No.
Nice and smooth delivery. He's locating his slider. He's got an excellent curveball.
Hasn't walked a batter tonight. Struck out 8.
He's got the splitter grip, Ron. See that?
Yeah. And he'll change if he's not going to throw it.
Right.
Flores tracking it to the sidewall, runs out of room.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Sorry.
Did you have something you wanted to share with the class? I mean, we got to hear the response to something, but we have no idea what he was responding to.
Greg Picker, our producer, was just in our ear saying tomorrow, in tomorrow's game, we're going to have a Dave Island. And what inning, Greg? 3rd inning. And I said, oh, my knee-jerk reaction. Oh, wonderful. I want to hear from Dave. Outstanding. So I'll just let you folks know.
9 strikeouts for Wheeler as he gets Rojas for the 2nd out.
But you're not going to be here.
I will not be here, but I'll have to tape it. TVR, is that the word?
Tape it.
Did you used to pass notes in class when you were a youngster?
No, I didn't do that. I used to do the spitballs out the straw.
Did you really?
Oh, you kidding?
And did you ever get caught?
Mr. Fogarty grabbed me by my sideburns and lifted me up.
Oh, to be a bit of fly on the wall. We need video. Charged by Rosario against the speed of Brinson. He throws him out to end the inning. So Wheeler goes an extra frame, gets to a season-high pitch count, and gets a 1-2-3 6th inning to boot. All right, Doug, here we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's down 3-1, and Zach Wheeler, after 6 solid innings, getting a little pitching instruction from Dave Island.
Yeah, he's talking to him about getting underneath the baseball. You got to get on top of it. Get right on top of that ball. When you bring it up, get on top of it, not underneath it, and then try to turn it.
What was he doing with his wrist? What was that all about?
It was all about it. You don't want a loose wrist on that slider. When you bring it up, you want that wrist to be rock solid, and you just pull higher as hard as you can.
Brandon Nimmo, 3rd time up against Caleb Smith. Brandon has struck out and flied out. He's 0 for 6 now in this series. Nimmo, Cabrera, and Flores in the 6th against Smith, who's looked terrific tonight, giving up just 3 hits in 5 innings. Wheeler undoubtedly done after 106 pitches in 6 innings, but gave up just 1 earned run tonight. Struck out 9, didn't walk anybody.
That's the key right there.
Mets box score brought to you by Fios by Verizon. Tomas Nido drove in the only Met run with a sac fly after Jose Bautista doubled in his first Mets at bat. Fouls off the fastball from Smith. Caleb Smith has kept his pitch count down tonight. His last start against the Dodgers, he threw 77 pitches in 3 innings. He's at 79 tonight in 5 innings plus. 2-2 coming, and
Good eye.
lays off the slider. 3-2.
Brandon's so disciplined up there. He has a good eye, and this is someone you've got a 2-run ball game here. You got to take your chances here. You cannot issue a free pass.
No, you got to challenge him. Go right after him.
Smith has walked only 1 tonight, and he strikes out Nimmo for the 2nd time. That's his 7th strikeout.
I tell you what, I like what I'm seeing from the pitching. I know the hitters are
pitchers are on the rise right now this season, but I see more of a trend of starting to go after hitters more, and it makes me happy. See, I'm tired of all the nibbling, 3-1 and all that dip-de-doo stuff.
Here's Cabrera, who's been up twice, grounded out both times. Smith acquired from the Yankees in a minor league trade in November. Made his big league debut last year. He had been pitching really well until his last start against the Dodgers when he got knocked out after 3. Cabrera drives one out to right, but Anderson gets over. And there are 2 out.
What's real noticeable for me from his first start against the Mets is that he's working so much quicker. He's getting the ball and just letting it go. And that kind of timing for him has led to less balls, more strikes.
What was the old Ray Miller mantra?
Yeah.
Work fast, change speeds, throw strike.
Yeah. Always works forever.
Wilmer Flores has walked and flied out 0 for 1, and he fouls one off the catcher Real Muto. Made a nasty sound, but he appears to be okay.
Did he get the catcher or did he get the ump? I wasn't sure. They always got the day glow on the fingernails. Interesting color choice there, the yellow. Interesting.
Might have been hard to ask Kidd to do that.
Hooked into left field. Coming on is Dietrich to get it, and that retires the side. Caleb Smith continues to shine. He gets the Mets out 1-2-3, 3-1 after 6. Callaway has had a lot of confidence making that signal to the bullpen, and the bullpen has come through with 13 consecutive scoreless innings. Led by J.R. Familia, but everybody's had a hand in it. Robert Gazelman coming off his first big league save his last time out. He'll take the ball for the 7th.
Yeah, 3 times out of his last 5 outings he's gone multiple innings.
Adrian Gonzalez playing first base. He'll bat 8th in the double switch. Gazelman goes in Flores' number 3 hole. Meanwhile, Caleb Smith staying in to bat for himself to start the 7th. And he hits one over the mound. Cabrera to his right. 1 out. Let's check into the studio. Doug Williams has another game break. Doug.
Wow. 14 home run. Wow.
It's a little guy hitting 14 home runs before the end of May.
Not a little guy when he's in that box.
Brandon McCarthy going for the Braves, who start the night with a half-game lead over the Phillies after the Phils won last night behind brilliant pitching from Nick Pivetta, who's really settled in to the number 3 spot in that Phillies rotation. Martin Prado was 0 for 3 tonight. Grounded out, popped up, struck out. Zellman, 5-out save against Arizona on Sunday. Throws his curveball for a strike, and it's a 1-1.
Got to be careful with Prado. In this kind of game, he'll occasionally try to look in on you.
I think right now with Prado, he's struggling so much, Ron. He's just trying to get his rhythm. He is just looks like he's feeling for the ball. And he's missed a lot of time.
Yeah.
I love.
Played only 37 games last year, missed the first month this year.
Yeah, it just looks like he's.
His lower half's going one way, his upper half's going the other way.
He has absolutely no rhythm, and he's looking for it. He's trying to find it. Become kind of defensive almost.
1-2, and he lays off the slider. 2-2.
He bailed on that one a little bit, and that means you're not seeing the ball. So, and as a hitter, when your fanny flies out like that, and you take that slider, you go, boy, that was a strike. I'm dead. I can't hit it.
And Prado foul tips it. Nito holds it, and that's the second out.
So how perfect was that, Ron? You got a slider that breaks away. You got Prado fanny out taking it, and now he's, as a hitter, you're going, gosh, that was a strike on the outside corner. I can't hit it. Now you're going to hang in there, and you come right in with that hard sinker down and in, and it ties you up.
You start leaning over a little bit.
Those are that was a beautiful sequence right there from Zellman.
So 2 out now. Real Muto, who's 2 for 3 and has driven in 2 of the 3 Miami runs. A good sinker by Gazelman, 0-1. Zach Wheeler went 6, allowed 7 hits, 3 runs, only 1 earned, no walks, 9 strikeouts. First time this year Wheeler's had a start with no walks. He had only 1 all of last year in which he didn't walk a batter. But he's on the hook in this game because Caleb Smith has been even better. Drew Steckenrider, first man up in the Marlins bullpen tonight, but certainly Smith will start the 7th at 87 pitches. Another foul tip. That one's held. 1-2. Next SNY telecast will be the first game of the road trip Thursday night from Miller Park. Mets and Brewers, 7:30, right here on SNY. Final game of this series tomorrow night will be on Picks.
I never say this, but I'm going to be happy to see a dome, just to know that you're going to play 4 games when the game is supposed to start.
That's great. And then we'll go to Atlanta where it'll rain for 3 days.
Don't say that.
I can't make it to Atlanta this time.
Every single time.
Have to do it without me.
Toward the hole, and Real Muto has his 3rd hit of the night.
Well, that young man can swing the bat.
He can play.
Went down to get that sinker.
Sure did. Just didn't get it in enough. But, you know, it's not a bad pitch, and it's a pretty good hitting.
Watch the back foot.
Look at the leg kick. That's like straw, for crying out loud. Darryl had the big leg kick like that.
Justin Turner.
So a 2-out single for Real Muto gets Bourne to the plate. He's 1 for 3 tonight.
Just every at bat, the first pitch to Bourne, they like to pound one in, even if it's off the plate.
Nito with the back pick. Realmuto gets the hand back. That's the first time we've seen that from Nido. Justin Bour, Rule 5 pick by the Marlins from the Cubs after coming out of George Mason University.
Just noticed he doesn't wear the batting gloves.
Well, that's why I thought that's why you liked him so much.
Oh, look at that thing of beauty.
Realmuto having a belt issue.
Well, he's just cleaning out all the dirt that got caught underneath the belt.
Just don't pull Steve Lyons, okay? To Bour.
That's good. That
2-2 coming. And the slider at his feet, and it's 3-2. So that'll get Realmuto in motion. Gonzalez lets Gazelman know that he's going to play behind the runner. Castro on deck.
To me, this is an interesting choice. What pitch do you go with? Slider down in or the fastball away?
And he misses with the fastball for ball 4. And the Marlins have 2 men on. 36th walk of the year now for Bour.
Wasn't a pitch around, but just being very careful, it looked like, as Island's going to come out to talk to Gazelman.
So Gazelman will face Castro with 2 men on. There's nobody up behind him in the Mets bullpen. Watch SNY Mets games on the go on any device with live streaming presented by Verizon. Just visit SNY.TV or download the NBC Sports app today for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game. So now Castro, who had an infield hit his last time up, 1 for 3 on the night. Gazelman retired the first 2 here in the 7th, but Realmuto bounced one through the hole. Bour drew a walk, and now Castro up with 2 out and 2 on. And a first pitch curveball in for a strike. Gazelman has certainly gotten plenty of work through the first 2 months of the season. His 22nd appearance, he's already worked 30 innings in relief. And that's a pace for about 115 relief innings, which does not happen very often.
No. That's what Roger McDowell did for us quite often. Roger was a workhorse out of that bullpen.
Now, of course, the other way of looking at it is that Gazelman's been a starting pitcher. Should be able to handle that kind of season workload, but it's going to be different pitching 115 innings as a reliever as opposed to a similar number as a starter.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I look at it this way. Most guys who throw, you know, he's on a pace to, you know, 65, 70 appearances or so. They throw about an inning per appearance. Like you said, there's going to be an extra 20, 25. That's uncharted territory.
Castro takes the sinker just out of the strike zone, 2-2.
Big pitch here. Don't want the runners running 3-2.
Brian Anderson would be next. 2 out, 2 on, 2-2 to Castro. He fouls off the slider to stay alive. Gazelman 23 pitches deep into this 7th inning.
Nito wanted fastball away. Step off by Gazelman. See what he changes to. Shook off with the fourth sign.
All right, what do you want to throw?
To me, that's always a giveaway. I'm not going to say it because people will listen.
Well, this is about as close as the Mets have gotten to the nub in terms of mound visits this year, down to 2, and we're in the 7th inning.
What was needed there? This is a huge pitch. Got to have this out again.
Two coming, and he comes inside with a sinker, and now it's 3-2. So now the runners will be in motion. Real Muto at second, Bohr at first with 3-2, 2 down. Castro a tough out. 3-2. And pounds one foul.
Robert not overthrowing, just looks so confident out there, letting the ball move. Not, you overthrow, that sink doesn't sink as much.
AJ Ramos on call now with Gazelman up to 25 pitches in the inning. 8th pitch coming to Castro, and he fouls one off his back, and he's still in there.
You see Gazelman's expression. He made a good pitch
He
right
did.
there, and he stayed in the at bat. And it's the good hitters, they find a way, make you work.
Starlin Castro has been able to hit from the moment he got to the big leagues with the Cubs.
I mean, there's not many players that are his age and have that many hits.
Over 1,300 hits in his career. And he lifts this one foul, and they'll do it again.
It's interesting. He almost, his body looks like he wants the ball middle of the plate in, but he's still able to cover that pitch away.
Got a good battle going on here in a very key situation in the game here.
Pitch number 10 upcoming. And there'll be an 11th.
I mean, he's got the seesaw working on him, doesn't he? The slider away, down and away, sinker down and in. Slider away, sinker down and in. Double up, down and in.
Real Muto and Bohr have been doing a lot of running the last half dozen pitches. They'll be in motion again. Castro hits a ground ball to Rosario. The play will be at a first. In time, side retired. On the 11th pitch of the at bat, Gazelman wins the battle. 3-1 Miami, 7th inning stretch. Met Jose Bautista. He left Tampa at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, took a flight to New York, arrived at the ballpark about 25 minutes before game time, right into the lineup, made a sliding stop in the outfield to double his first time up, scored the Mets' only run thus far tonight, getting to know his new teammates, and he'll have a turn at bat here in the 7th with the Mets still down 3-1. Caleb Smith still on the mound for Miami. Michael Conforto will lead off the inning. Conforto has struck out in his first 2 at-bats tonight against Smith, who has fanned 7. And he gets the first pitch breaking ball in for a strike. 26-year-old Caleb Smith pitching a wonderful game for Miami, and the Mets trying to break through 3rd time around the order. Conforto hitting cleanup for the 3rd straight day. He had 2 hits out of the cleanup spot last night, but this spot in the batting order has been an absolute black hole for the Mets this year. No matter who's been there. Cleanup hitters for the Mets up to date, hitting 185 with 1 home run. 1 home run in 44 games. There's the slugging percentage from the 4th spot in the batting order, by far the lowest in baseball. And it's not like it's been one guy. It's been Gonzalez and Bruce and Frazier and Conforto and Cabrera and Flores. They've all hit cleanup this year.
Boy, that was a good 2-1 breaking ball right there, and it could have gone either way. Conforto winced, but that was a wicked 2-1 slider.
He comes back with a fastball away. Now it's 3-2 with Bautista and Reyes to follow here in the 7th.
Got him on the high fastball before. Does he choose that or the slider?
And Conforto hits one out to left center field, hit well. Brinson back to the track, right near the wall. He makes the leaping grab. Right at the top of the fence. Lewis Brinson showing off his defensive chops, taking an extra base hit away from Conforto for the first out.
Well, 370 in that gap. Just 2 feet shorter, longer than Wrigley Field. But nice play by Brinson.
Damp night, keep that ball in the ballpark, maybe. Nice play by Brinson.
It wasn't going out, but it would have been right off the orange stripe if he hadn't made the play. Now Bautista hits a liner foul.
I tell you what, the ball boy down there at the 3rd base line, I mean, he's got it covered. He's having a great homestand.
Bautista doubled down the left field line and scored in the 2nd. Makes a big rip at a fastball, and it's 0-2. 12 games with Atlanta. Hit 2 home runs, batted .143. They let him go. Mets signed him today. And for a team that has been struggling against left-hand pitching all year, the Mets are hoping that Bautista has something left in the tank to offer, particularly against the lefties. 1-2 coming. Backdoor slider missed. 2-2. Caleb Smith trying to get through 7 innings for just the 2nd time this season. He went 7 against the Rockies in April. Didn't allow a run in that game. Now Bautista tries to hold, and he did. And it's 3-2.
Got a 2-run lead. You got to challenge him, right? Fastball upstairs.
And he strikes him out with a fastball.
Oh, I'm impressed with this young man.
8 strikeouts for Caleb Smith.
Very impressed. Good old-fashioned country hardball.
So 2 out and nobody on, and now Reyes, who has one of the Mets' 3 hits tonight, singled to right center his last time up. Reyes has made 2 errors in the field. One of them led to 2 unearned runs that right now are the difference in this game. All the runs in this game scored in the 2nd inning. 2-0 to Jose. Tomas Nido is out on deck, but if Reyes gets on, wouldn't you be tempted to throw Mesoraco up there?
Yeah, just
well, they got a right-hander ready in that pen. If they make that move, the right-hander is going to come in. But still, I like it either way.
there's that get me over fastball again behind in the count. 2-0. Just a little 89, 90 mile an hour strike.
And Jose ignores the changeup, and now it's 3-1.
Reyes was one of the few people that was able to get on top of a fastball from Smith in the last at bat.
And that's too high, ball 4. And so the Mets will get the tying run to bat against Smith, who just issued his second walk of the night. A guy who's been walking almost 5 per 9 innings. He's had much better control tonight. Don Mattingly comes out of the dugout. They've got the right-hander ready in the bullpen.
Wow.
Drew Steckenrider's been throwing for quite some time, and he's coming in. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. Caleb Smith out after 104 pitches, leads with a 3-1 lead. We'll be right back. Drew Steckenrider in to face the pinch hitter Devin Mesoraco. Tying run at bat in the 7th inning. And Mesoraco takes high for ball 1.
It's been a struggle for Steckenrider. His last 4 innings, he's given up 11 runs. When we saw him in Miami, he was one of their better relievers. Fastball, slider, change.
Caleb Smith out after 6 2/3. He was great.
He's a hard thrower.
Just love he had a great control, but his breaking ball has eluded him of late.
Adrian Gonzalez on deck. Mesoraco batting for Tomas Nido. With Reyes at first and 2 out. And the fastball off the plate, 2-1. Mesoraco 1 for 4 last night. Got banged on the elbow by an errant bat. Brian Anderson nicked him in the 4th inning. It swelled up in the 7th, and he came out and had x-rays taken, but he was okay. No damage. Pops one up on the third base side and foul ground, and that'll go out of play. 2-2 to Mesoraco. And pinch hitters have been on a roll. 4 hits in their last 4 at bats. And over a longer stretch, 11 hits in their last 25 at bats. That's that 440 clip. Last night it was Phillip Evans and Wilmer Flores getting base hits. Evans' final act before being sent down today. 2-2. Mesoraco takes up an inning. It's a full count with Adrian Gonzalez on deck.
Mesoraco's got a 2-run home run in this homestand, right? To tie a ball game late.
Yes, he does.
Reyes gets set to run. Mesoraco pops one foul. That'll go out of play. Mesoraco's also been a good pinch hitter over his career. 54 career pinch hit at bats. He's hitting .315 as a pinch hitter, which is awfully good.
Yeah, very good.
Again, the 3-2. He lifts one to right. Anderson was playing deep. He's going to have to race in, and he gets there to retire the side. Mets failed to score in the 7th, thanks in large part to a terrific play by Lewis Brinson, taking an extra base hit away from Michael Conforto, leading off the inning. That sends us off to the 8th, with the Marlins still up 3-1. Brinson's impressed.
Oh, hey guys, I just need a little chocolate for the show, but at 11 we'll have so much on Geico Sports Night. Christian Hackenberg is gone, plus the Mets. See ya.
Get a little amp by the time Sports Night arrives.
They got more snacks there than we have here. Nice.
SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Some nice Tupperware too. You don't usually see that at the.
New battery for the Mets. Mesoraco stays in to catch. AJ Ramos pitches for the 2nd straight day.
2nd straight day, and he got 4 outs. That's his longest appearance this season. So back-to-back for Ramos. See if he's effective.
Brian Anderson leads off in the 8th inning with the Marlins up 3-1, and fouls off a first pitch fastball. Anderson doubled and scored in the Marlins 3-run 2nd. Since then, he struck out twice. Left a couple in scoring position in the 5th. Zach Wheeler was good tonight. 6 innings. 3 runs, only 1 earned, 7 hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts. Gazelman got through trouble in the 7th, and now Ramos in the 8th. Ramos not only pitched an inning and a 3rd last night, he made a terrific play in the 7th inning with Rojas at first. He was running on the pitch, and J.B. Shuck hit a comebacker, and Ramos never hesitated throwing the ball to second base, even with the runner in motion. And they got the double play.
Go ahead, Keith. Well, they got the double play.
Yeah.
And like you said, Gary, he just decided to go. If he had hesitated 1 split second, it would have been the difference there. So it was a terrific play.
I just find it funny that Ramos has a different throw when he throws to the bases than he does when he pitches to the plate. He's got kind of a 3/4 sling when he throws to first on a pickoff attempt or that double play turn.
Should try to do that from the mound occasionally. Down the left field line toward the pole, and foul.
Oh, not by much.
Anderson barely missing a home run. That one.
Wow.
Dietrich and Rojas to follow. 2-2 to Anderson, and he fouls one back this way. Got in our neighborhood, guys.
Caught on the fly. Outstanding.
I saw that out of the corner of my eye. You kind of take it for granted. Nothing come close to us.
Well, it came down, what, about 2 rows in front of Al?
One row,
Yeah.
the back row, and it was a father with his 2 kids and his lady, and saved them all with the catch.
Nicely done. 7th pitch to Anderson, and the curveball just missed. 3-2.
Good eye from Anderson right there. There you go.
Now he dropped it.
Yeah.
Put him on camera, and after the great catch, he fumbles the ball.
It was outstanding. Great catch. Come on.
And now the boys can fight over it.
Let me touch it. Give me the ball. Come on.
Too high, ball 4, and Anderson's on with a leadoff walk. Something that Ramos has been better at staying away from, but he walks his first batter tonight. Tonight's starters brought to you by People's United Bank. Wheeler was very good. Caleb Smith was better. And it's the Marlins who lead at 3-1 in the 8th. And Miami has their hottest reliever, Kyle Barraclough, getting ready in the bullpen. Derek Dietrich is 1 for 3 tonight. He singled and scored back in the 2nd. And he hits one deep to right field. That goes Nimmo near the wall, and it's out of here. Derek Dietrich with a 2-run homer, his 4th of the year. And Miami stretches their lead to 5-1. So after Ramos's longest outing of the year last night, he comes back the following night. A walk and a 2-run homer to his first 2 innings.
First ball, fastball hitting. Dietrich, really a good fastball hitter. He jumps all over. Yeah, I don't think it cut much.
Okay.
He jumped all over this. No doubt.
Rojas pops one up, and Reyes takes charge of it for the first out.
Here we go, Ron. Let's see if it's a cutter. Hard to tell. I think it's a fastball.
Yeah.
He just got the barrel up on it. Yeah, he squared it up very nicely.
Only the 2nd home run Ramos has given up this year, but it now puts the Mets in a 4-run hole in the 8th. Here's Lewis Brinson, who's gone 0 for 3 tonight. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Brinson 0 for 7 in this series, but he just made a terrific play against Conforto that might have short-circuited a Met chance in the last inning.
You know, it might be a case, Gary, where his defense might be keeping him in the major leagues.
Well, his defense is certainly ahead of his offense.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to destroy a guy.
I understand. Yeah.
Geez, if you got a lot of talent, just keep running them up there. 56 strikeouts.
It's hard to develop your young talent at this level. You know, they've got to be close to the finished product.
Jacob Rame, who has not seen much action lately, up in the Mets bullpen. And Brinson fouls off the curveball. J.B. Shuck on deck to pinch hit for Miami. And Brinson stays alive. Derek Dietrich with that 2-run homer. It's only the second home run he's ever hit against the Mets. The first one came 5 years ago against Scott Rice. That's how long code was.
I have no recollection of Scott Rice.
The lefty was in like 150 games one year for the Mets.
Like
Single baller.
split finger, sinker ball. He could go an entire inning, not throw one strike and get 3 outs.
He'd been in the minor leagues for like 12 years, and that 1 year he pitched every day for the Mets.
6'6".
2013, he was in 73 games.
It's not that long ago.
It was only 73 games.
And he only gave up 1 home run that year, and that was to Derek Dietrich.
Enough. Don't. Kurt might be listening and thinking I'm getting forgetful.
Maybe
you start looking for more new talent.
Maybe he appeared in the games that you didn't do.
Now just give you more time off, Keith. 8th pitch of the at bat coming to Brinson, and he has to move his feet to get away from the fastball. 3-2.
I have absolutely no recollection of him.
I'll have to show you a picture. Nice guy too.
Great guy.
Ended up having Tommy John surgery the next year. Brinson strikes out for the second out. I think that was it. Rice, he pitched in 2014. I think it was about 30 games, and then Tommy John, and he's never come back as far as I know.
Yeah, I think he signed with a couple times, but never made it back, all the way back.
Keith, here's a picture. Maybe you remember him.
Oh yes. Okay. Yes, I remember.
Here's JB Shuck to pinch hit.
You're just a visual learner, that's all.
Shuck faced Ramos last night, hit that comebacker double play. And curveball in for a strike. Well, as we move into the latter stages of this game and the Mets down by 4 runs, keep in mind that it was just the day before yesterday. That's inside, hits the bat, a foul ball. It was just the day before yesterday. The Marlins were in Atlanta and took a 5-run lead into the 9th inning and lost the game. And I'm sure that will be on their minds as the Mets come to bat in the 8th and 9th. Don Mattingly called it the worst possible kind of loss. Up 9-4 in the 9th, they lost 10-9. Check swing foul.
Well, you know, when you're a team that is rebuilding and you're a young team and you're trying to develop so many young players, it's few and far between those wins. So you just got to have it.
Shuck drives one to left center, overcomes Conforto to get it, and that retires the side, but not before Derek Dietrich's 2-run homer expands the Marlins lead against his old teammate A.J. Ramos. Dietrich, first pitch swinging, his 4th home run of the year, and the Marlins lead at 5-1, go to the bottom of the 8th. with a 5-1 lead.
Here's the Coors Banquet timeless moment. Earlier tonight,
That's as good.
Gary broke out his socks.
Gary, rubber soles, huh? Nice, easy on the feet.
Cole Hahn's very nice. Very
Yeah,
comfortable.
well played.
Cross bats. Notice that Gary has 2 bats and the balls are by him. He's struck out.
Again? That was Little League. J.B. Shuck stays in the game to play left field, and Kyle Barraclaw comes in to pitch the 8th inning.
Well, it's a great trade getting Barraclaw and the Steve Cishek trade to St. Louis 3 seasons ago. He's only given up 2 earned runs in his last 17 innings pitched.
Adrian Gonzalez up for the first time tonight, came on in a double switch. Adrian started last night, went 0 for 3 and a walk. And he pulls one into right field for a base hit. That's going to go all the way into the corner. Run down by Anderson, and Gonzalez pulls in at second base with a leadoff double.
There's a start.
Got the barrel out there nicely on that one.
So Barraclaw has been fairly untouchable lately. Gives up the leadoff double, and now Rosario comes up.
A lot of times, Gary, when you're leading off an inning in a game like this, 8th inning, 5-1, 4-run lead, that pitcher's inclined to give you that first pitch fastball. Be ready.
Rosario 0 for 2 tonight, struck out and fouled out.
Gary, I think what you just said about how they coughed up that big lead, when you bring in your bullpen and you're fresh off that game against the Braves, you start to, whoa, is this going on again? Is this going to happen again?
The old here we go again. Rosario, the youngest Met on the field tonight, looking to make something happen. So far the Mets have 4 hits tonight. 1 by the pitcher, Wheeler. The other 3 by guys 34 and older. Reyes, Gonzalez, Bautista. Rosario chops one to short. Big hop for Rojas, and he throws him out as Gonzalez goes to third, 1 away.
Good jump by Gonzalez to advance to third.
So 1 out. Brandon Nimmo, who's had a rough series so far tonight, 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts, 0 for 7 in the 2 games. Now facing a right-hander for the first time tonight. Infield back with a 4-run lead. And Nimmo takes a fastball for a strike. Barraclaw doesn't throw quite as hard as he did when he first came up. Throws a lot more sliders now. Jacob Rame up in the bullpen.
Doesn't walk as many as he did before, and we also saw him break out a changeup when we were in Miami.
And knee-high fastball to get Nimmo 1-2.
I thought it was a strike.
I mean, they've been calling it all night.
A lot of players are moaning and groaning tonight for some reason.
Asdrubal Cabrera on deck. Pitcher spot behind Cabrera. Mets still have Bruce in the dugout. And Nimmo fouls it off.
You know, the opposing team also reads not the papers but the reports, and they know that Nimmo is very patient, and you know, so the pitchers are going to act accordingly. They're going to be a little more aggressive with him.
Double for Gonzalez was just the 9th hit against Barraclaw in 22 innings this year. It's been that hard to hit.
He's good. Good slider, throws hard.
1-2 coming. And he sails that changeup, and it's 2-2. Harvey making his Reds home debut, and he's gotten through 5 innings with the lead. 2-2 coming, and Nimmo ignores, and now it's 3-2. So he's gotten it from 0-2 to 3-2. That's down by 4 in the 8th. Need base runners. You got Cabrera on deck, and then Bruce probably is a pinch hitter behind him. So this is the Mets' chance.
Not much to think over when you're up by 4. Let's go.
To Nimmo. Lifts it down the left field line, slicing away. Foul. Seven pitches deep in this at bat. Still going. And he walked him. That's a huge walk for Nimmo, who was down in the count 0-2. But Barraclough still has that tendency, and Nimmo takes advantage, and now the Mets have 2 men on.
Just can't give free passes. I'd be looking first ball, fastball right now for the pitcher that just walk Nimmo.
Cabrera against Barraclough, 2 for 11 with a home run. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Hit the ball hard his last time up, lining out to right. Gonzalez at third, Nimmo at first with 1 out. And Cabrera takes the fastball for a strike.
Got a shift on. You saw that shift. Boy, I tell you what, I would not be inclined, because just you want to keep the assembly line moving here. You don't need a 3-run home run. Get a base hit. They're giving you that left side of the infield.
Get a base hit. You get Bruce to the plate at the tying run. And the changeup misses high, 1-1. Jay waiting to pinch hit. He was in the original lineup tonight, but scratched right before game time when Jose Bautista arrived and was put in there against the left-hander. One from Barraclough to Cabrera. And time asked for right before Barraclough was going to let that ball go.
Too late.
I guess DeBrook has annoyed somebody else.
It's a hard call for the umpire, though. You know, you have a hitter that wants time, and you don't know when the pitcher's coming. It's a hard call.
Realmuto moving away. And the pitch is low and in, a change up, and it's 2-1.
He got it.
Well, the Mets have done a great job late in games early this year. They already have 14 come from behind wins, and a number of those have come when they've trailed after 7 innings.
He has thrown 3 changeups in this inning, and he hasn't gotten one close over the plate, and now he's got himself in trouble with 2 in a row to Cabrera, and he cannot afford to go 3-1.
And as Drupal pulls one on the ground, might be 2. Castro to Rojas and back to first. 4-6-3 double play gets Barraclough out of the inning. That's got a leadoff double from Gonzalez, but Barraclough finds his way through with the double play. 5-1 going to the 9th. All right, gentlemen, here we go to the 9th inning with the Marlins up 5-1, trying to beat the Mets for the first time in 5 tries this year. Jacob Rame, for the first time in 6 days, throws a strike to Martin Prado.
Yeah, 6 days ago he got 4 outs against the Toronto Blue Jays in that blowout.
Prado's gone 0 for 4 at the top of the batting order, and he takes a curveball outside, 1-1. Rame, the 4th Met pitcher of the night. Zach Wheeler pitched well, but he's on the hook in this game. Allowed just 1 earned run over 6 innings and struck out 9. Robert Gazelman a scoreless inning, but then A.J. Ramos gave up a 2-run homer to Derek Dietrich in the 8th. Brad Ziegler, who generally closes games for Miami, even though it'll be a non-save situation, he's up.
That's the best swing by Prado in 2 days right there. That looked like the old Prado.
It's been a rough beginning for Prado. It's up to 87 at bats now, so after missing a month, he's had at least a spring training's worth of at bats.
Oh,
and he got a piece of it and knocked the mask right off Mike Estabrook.
Oh.
How's your day going?
gamer.
Remember the old game Rock'em Sock'em Robots?
Yes, my favorite.
That's exactly what that reminded me of.
The old uppercut.
He knocked his block off.
What are they, red and blue? The combatants?
Both those robots had glass jaws.
Seventh pitch of the at bat. Prado lines one to right, but right at Nimmo for the first out. So Rame gets his first batter out. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Big night for JT Realmuto, 3 for 4. He's driven in 2 of the Miami runs. Has not had a 4-hit game this year. Jacob deGrom pitches the final game of this series for the Mets tomorrow night.
And for quite some time now, when Jacob takes the ball, you get a little excited.
Should be a little warmer tomorrow night. That'll be nice. Nice off-speed pitch.
Change up. Making up pitches out there. Nice. Nicely done.
There's Jake, who has been just spectacular. Rom started the day second in the National League in ERA behind Carlos Martinez. Carlos is still on the disabled list for St. Louis.
Yeah. Yes.
4th in the league in strikeouts, 6th in the league in opponent's batting average, 2nd in the league in strikeouts per 9 innings. Weak ground ball for Rosario, and he gets Realmuto for the second out.
I've said this before on our air. There comes a time for a starting pitcher where your talent, physical talents, meet your intellectual gifts about how to get hitters out. That's where he is right now.
It's like a Venn diagram.
There you go. Beautiful. And that's where he is. That's where he lives right now. It's nice to watch. Fun to watch.
Justin Bohr has been on base twice with a single and a walk. He's 1 for 3. In the bottom of the 9th, the Mets will have the pitcher's spot. Conforto and Bautista due up. They have Jay Bruce and Luis Guillorme left on the bench for pinch hitting purposes. And Moore pops one up in his shallow center. Out goes Rosario to get it, and that retires the side. 1-2-3 inning for Jacob Rame. Mets come up in the bottom of the ninth, looking for some magic, trailing 5-1. Resort's 3 amazing theme parks, including Universal's Volcano Bay Water Theme Park, a tropical paradise like no other. Plus, stay on site at Lowe's Sapphire Falls Resort. Just go to sny.tv/Toyota and enter today. Changes for the Marlins. Miguel Rojas moves from shortstop to first. Yadiel Rivera comes into play short. And the 38-year-old closer Brad Ziegler into pitch. Luis Guillorme pinch hitting. We start the bottom of the ninth. And Guillorme fouls one off.
Saw those numbers for Ziegler. Only 3 walks in 20 innings pitched. He's going to come after you with strikes, mostly on the bottom part of the strike zone. Wants you to ground out.
Guillorme started last night at third, went 0 for 3. And takes a fastball outside, 1-1. Ziegler with 8 saves this year. And Guillorme gets jammed and bounces one down to first for Rojas, and that's the first down.
It's interesting. Most of these guys that throw down under, they start as a regular motion and then bend that upper body over that front leg. And that's when they drop and drive. Boy, that ball is about as low as anyone we've seen in quite some time. Got to clear that front shoulder or you'll throw it in your own dugout.
Quisenberry, to me, almost through at 6 o'clock.
Colby too, right?
Colby was more at 7.
More like Ziegler?
No one was even close to Quisenberry.
Another slow grounder, another chance for Rojas. Conforto retired, and the Mets are down to their final out.
You know what's interesting is when you just try to pick up his right elbow after he lets this ball go, and from throwing down under, how much snap is involved. But everyone will tell you is that's why softball pitchers can pitch so many games in a row, because it's less wear and tear, some will say.
Jay Bruce pinch hitting for Bautista, flies one out to center. Lewis Brinson grabs it. 6-pitch save or 6-pitch finish for Ziegler and a non-save chance as the Marlins beat the Mets for the first time this season. They get great pitching from Caleb Smith and their bullpen, and they defeat the Mets tonight 5-1.
Well, Wheeler was good, Keith, but you liked Caleb Smith tonight, didn't you?
I loved Caleb Smith, a fastball challenge hitter, 6 2/3, only 3 hits. 1 run. We can't complain about that. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Went after Met hitters.
Tonight's game summary presented by Fios by Verizon. Wheeler was really good. 9 strikeouts, no walks. Only the second time in the last 2 years he's had a no-walk start. But Caleb Smith was better. And then the 2-run homer by Derek Dietrich put it away as the Miami Marlins have evened up this series with a 5-1 win. We'll come back with more from Citi Field in just a moment.